This is Morten from INKISH with my good friend Richard Askam. He had the pleasure, I guess, today to be the moderator and host here at the Fujifilm event in Düsseldorf at the Hyatt Hotel. Super nice location, I must say. And now back to you, Richard.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
In a way, when I talk to you, I feel intrigued to talk about things that are philosophic.
Okay.
Because talking about your role as a moderator is, for the most, with all due respect, something about guiding people into a stage, present them, have a little chat with them, and give them on to somebody else, right? To the audience, more or less, right?
Yeah, kind of. Although I do think there's a little bit, well, hopefully a little bit more to it than that, which is the skill.
I was not trying to talk down about it.
No, I understand that, but I think understanding the role of a good moderator, and I put myself in that category because that's the way I feel after a long day, is to make your guest feel comfortable, so that they can give the best of themselves. I think a lot of people are scared of being on stages. I'm not one of those people. You know that. You know me well enough. And I think if you can make somebody comfortable and make them relaxed, then they'll talk better. And ideally, what I want to do from guests as I'm moderating is talk to them on stage and have the audience listen to our conversation.
Okay, so let's start directly with a provocation. You are in a room filled with people coming from at least 30 different cultures, where humor, understanding of language, all that shit is totally different.
Yeah. It's harder. I always try and find out the room that I'm in. That was a piece of advice I was given years ago. Know the room you're in. Understand that. Understand the cultural and the language differences. Adjust your pace. Adjust your tone. Adjust your brain to a certain extent. What could I say in England that I can't say here? We are very sarcastic, I think, as a nation. So I try
maybe part of the Nordic, because I think that
possibly.
the Nordic British culture, right?
You just have to temper your natural self into still remaining comfortable, but not necessarily speaking too quickly so that nobody can, and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's a learned skill. It's taken me. I've been doing this for 10 years, and it's taken me this long to learn it.
Now you are standing in the crowd, in front of on a stage, and there's a competitor or another moderator. How do you judge him or her?
I always think it's best to be generous if you're working with somebody else, and give them the space and time to do their work and expect the same in return. I think that's a sort of mutual respect. I don't think judgment comes into it particularly, because it's too on the spot. I maybe think about it later and think there's things I could have said or things I should have maybe let them say.
The reason I'm asking was just because for a second I was thinking that I play keyboard all my life. When I go to a gig, I can't help thinking about listening
to the keyboard player.
Not judge him. Can I learn? Did he choose the right sounds? Did he use his technical skills to something that was enlightening in music? And I was just thinking that learning also in your role is about learning yourself and learning about life, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that comes with what I call wisdom, but most people call old age, is you learn more about yourself as you get older. And if you can put that impression in front of people, I'm pretty much the same person off stage as I am on. I think you're the same. And I think people respect that naturalness, and as a result, they relax quicker. And as you know, the only job of the speaker or the moderator is to be heard, so you have to find a way that your audience wants to listen to you. I use humor a lot. I think it's quite self-deprecating for me, but also the audience relax. Once you get somebody to smile, their whole body relaxes.
I think you are deep in many ways.
Okay.
But I'm also wondering if you sometimes hide a little bit behind a facade.
Oh, quite possibly. I mean, I was the shyest child that has ever been created. You'd have to ask my mother. Nobody believes when I say that, because they just see this confident person. And in many ways, I am that confident person, but there are certain situations that shyness still comes out. So that facade, as you call it, is definitely there. I don't think it's all of me, but I think there's bits of me. Every now and again, that fight or flight sort of argument rages in my head, and I could very easily run from certain situations.
The reason I'm asking about is because, I mean, as you say that you give a lot of yourself when you're moderating. I can understand now if you tell me that you've been tired after an entire day as moderating, and here are many different cultures. So I understand that is even more challenging. What is your dark side?
My dark side? That's a really good question, actually. I don't particularly consider that I have a dark side, but I probably have a darker place.
That's okay to
Yeah,
talk.
and that's
The reason why I'm asking, just so you know in what context, is just because if you are giving yourself on a stage,
Yeah.
if you suddenly come out of your comfort zone, I was just wondering if that puts off something that can basically give you a little bit like, oh.
The problem that I have is that most things on a stage are in my comfort zone. So I can't think of an occasion off the top of my head where I've been put out of that comfort zone.
Okay, you're sitting at home now.
Yep.
In your wonderful house with your damn annoying dogs that always barks when you are on call with somebody, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know,
yeah. Do they put you out of your comfort zone?
No, I used to have a smaller dog that barked at a pitch that just went straight through my brain. We no longer have that dog. So I removed the problem.
Of that?
Well, yeah, because it was, it was an uncalm influence on my being, and it was very tangible.
I heard you on stage joking a little bit about sitting behind the drums, but you have a drum kit in your living room, right?
I did. My daughter played the drums, so you would have seen that the last time we had a Zoom call from home. But she no longer plays the drums.
Okay.
But
for the same reason as the dog is not there anymore?
Pretty much, yeah. If you've ever had a child learn the drums, you'll understand. But I used to sing in a band for 20 years. That was my hobby. So being on a stage with instruments always makes, and I always used to sit at the drums. Can't play them, but it just somehow was like, well, this looks good. So seeing a drum kit tonight was like a little bit tempting, but I was also aware that I need to be respectful and deferential to the audience. So I couldn't just be the fool that I would normally be in that situation.
Why do you go to present on TEDx stages?
Why? I saw it as a badge of honor. I think it still has a very high qualitative level in the world. To present yourself as a TED talker, I think is sort of Premier League stuff in what I do for a living. So it was an opportunity that I couldn't miss, and I really enjoyed it. I'd love to do it again.
You've done it 2 times, right?
No, just the once, but I now coach
Okay, that was
speakers.
how so.
Yeah.
So when you coach other speakers, are you trying to make them better versions of yourself, or?
Not of myself, of themselves. It's getting them past their self-awareness, their fears that largely are irrational. I mean, anybody that was born with the ability to speak can speak. So the public side of public speaking is something that sits in people's heads. My job is to try and get them away from that, get past that problem, and be the best of themselves when they get onto that stage.
So why should people hire you to be a moderator?
Because I'm incredibly good, Morten. I think is the best. Sorry, this isn't an audition, is it?
Is that the dark side that we just saw there?
No.
That you are like very humble about your own skills and abilities?
It's a British disease that we're not very good at telling people how good we are. But I think I've been doing this enough now in this print industry that we love for a lot of people to know what I'm good at. And I think if they want the style that I bring to a stage, then that sort of moderation makes an event more relaxing.
Yesterday, when I gave you our first copy of our Drupa in-flight magazine, you joked smelling to it and looked at the spine, because you see that is how printers do things.
Yeah.
Does it mean anything to you?
Yeah, it means amusement, which is why I did it. It also is an observation that I've made over the years, and it's 9 years now that I've been sort of working in the print industry, although I'm not from the print industry. But my observation of what they love and what they need is I think, pretty accurate, because I can, from a stage, observe people.
So you want more work, that's what you say?
Yeah, always. I mean, I'm only 57, only just a little bit older than yourself.
So I've got much older.
Many years left, hopefully, doing this. As long as I've got my voice connected to my brain, and people want to hear what I've got to say, then why would I not want to do that?
Thank you.
Morten, a pleasure.